Over to you, live at the big screen.
Thank you, Steve. President Obama greeted by a very different-looking Congress last night, and he used the opportunity to push for bipartisanship.
What comes of this moment is up to us. What comes of this moment will be determined not by whether we can sit together tonight, but whether we can work together tomorrow.
So will the civility actually go beyond last night's seating chart? Joining us right now, I'm bringing up a sore point, is Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Congressman, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks. Good morning.
I tell you, my heart went out to you. I'm following your tweets. I know, Congressman Chaffetz, that you were looking for a date, and you thought you had one a few times. You thought you'd be stuck next to Congressman Weiner, but it didn't happen.
Hey, I was so scared to death that I was going to have to sit next to Representative Weiner, and thank goodness that didn't happen. I mean, this is the morning. I know you people are eating oatmeal right now. I didn't mean to prepare people to hurl by thinking about that scene. But listen, I sat next to Dave Loebsack. It's a nice thing. Nobody gives a hoot. They care about the economy and jobs and everything else. It's ridiculous. It's like 7th grade, you know, about going to the dance and who you're going to sit by. It was kind of silly, actually.
So it is true, but it did affect the atmosphere in the room. There was no look left, look right to find out what party feels about what and why and enthusiasm levels. So how did date night go last night? There was less clapping. There was 24 standing ovations, a little bit less, and President Obama's jokes fell a little short. Let's listen.
Within 25 years, our goal is to give 80% of Americans access to high-speed rail. This could allow you to go places in half the time it takes to travel by car. For some trips, it will be faster than flying, without the pat-down. There are 12 different agencies that deal with exports. There are at least 5 different agencies that deal with housing policy. Then there's my favorite example. The Interior Department is in charge of salmon while they're in freshwater, but the Commerce Department handles them when they're in saltwater. I hear it gets even more complicated once they're smoked.
Joe Biden, a sympathetic grin. Did it affect the mood in the room? It sounded kind of quiet after those laugh lines.
Well, I've gone through 2 campaigns. I've never, ever had anybody say, hey, what we need in this country is high-speed rail. I've just never heard that. And look, the president is trying to be cute. He's trying to lighten it up a little bit. And I saw a funny tweet that came across to me that said, so let me get this right. We're going to have smoked salmon on a high-speed train, and that's going to be serviced by illegal immigrants that are highly educated. It was just, you know, the president's got to lighten it up a little bit. But at the end of the day, the message, I think, fell a little bit short because he was talking about spend, spend, spend instead of cut, cut, cut. This is a big, fat, larded-up government that needs to be seriously cut, and we didn't hear anything about what to cut in government. That's the concern. When you really get to that's the kind of funny stuff. That's what really is at the heart of the problem.
So, Congressman, have you concluded, being that all this so-called investment was included in the speech, that the president has not gotten the message and won't even adhere to his own bipartisan commission on cutting the deficit?
Well, we heard, for instance, a couple years ago, the very first time I went to one, the very first time the president was in the House, we heard him talk about earmarks, and then he talked about it again. Well, over the last 2 years, we didn't cut out the earmarks. Now he says he's going to again. So, you know, it's all about action. It's a lot less about the words.
You're on the Budget Committee. Do you think that Congressman Ryan got his point across last night?
Now, I think the country is starting to realize that Congressman Ryan knows more about the budget and the process than anybody else in Washington, D.C.
Right.
He's serious about making those cuts. I think the country is going to fall in love with this guy because he's got the right message and the right brains behind it. So,
and you're on the same committee. Congressman Jason Chaffetz, have a good day.
Thanks, Frank.
And thanks for your time. Meanwhile, coming up straight ahead, could tracking terrorists be as easy as pulling out your iPhone? A tech-savvy soldier says yes, and thank you, Congressman Chaffetz, and I appreciate you. Created the app.